Gentlemen, please welcome Robert Sheehan. Good evening, sir.
083 360 60 60.
360. So good to get you. Have you been called
I'm
English?
doing your advertising. I'm not even getting paid.
You look like you could be at a letter picnic right now.
Do you know what? I'm down the back of a pub that's had the decency to open, and I'm just making it work with you guys with a mobile charger plugged into my very, very old phone. So it's a sheer miracle that I'm talking to you at all. Can you hear me well enough?
Yeah, we can hear you grand. Yeah, yeah, thanks for making the effort and connecting to us. Where exactly is the pub?
That's all right, Ray. It's in Honiton, which is in Devon,
right?
Which is in the southwest of England.
Right. What brings you to Honiton?
It's where I've moved to become a man of the country.
Oh, right. Okay. And what are they? What's happening there? What are you up to? There's an endorsement there if there was one. What has you in?
Yeah, it's not bad. You know, it's travelled not bad to Honiton.
It's all right.
It tastes pretty decent. Do you know what? Me and my pal Finn.
Yeah.
We decided to take a break from the teat of civilization and go down and learn how to do survival bushcraft.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? So we're going into the forest in about an hour to start the weekend thing, you know, and build our own shelter and
oh my God,
learn how to build a fire in it, set some legal traps, and catch some rhino or some rabbits, whatever shows up first.
This sounds like the beginning of a brilliant horror film.
It does, but it's nice that he's also got a lovely creamy pint in surviving in an apocalypse film. Guinness will always be there, so that's good.
Always be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is basically like our last supper before we head off into the forest.
Well, we hope that you're going to come back out because, you know, people need to see more of you. When you're not roughing it in a forest, you are, of course, playing a huge role in the runway hit, The Umbrella Academy, at the moment on Netflix.
Geez, Mirren, they've seen enough of me recently, haven't they, surely?
They've seen a lot of you, Robert. Well, what's it like to be part of such a huge show? I'm blushing.
What's it like? Well, it's you know how you contextualize reality, and it sort of changes as you get text things about the results of the show. For example, I keep getting these nice texts of links from my boss Steve Blackman saying how Umbrella Academy has broken all sorts of viewing records and been at the top spot of Netflix, and it's those things where you suddenly feel a shift of, oh Christ, this is going to change. Certainly changed my life in public. Certainly. Oh, look, there we all are. Yeah. Look at this around a birthday cake. So it's I don't know. I'll tell you in 2 years if I'm still alive.
You will, of course, be alive.
It's incredibly pleasantly surprising, I suppose, because I've done enough projects in my life where you come to never really expect anything. So when something the rarity, you know, it's like it's such a lightning in a bottle type thing. If something is that successful and that unifying, that I don't know how to take it. I mean, I suppose it was a comparable experience with Love Hate in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Because Love Hate was embraced into the bosom of all Irish people, it seemed.
Absolutely.
All at once into their lovely, warm, maybe moist bosom.
We've done bosoms and teats now already, Robert. I don't know how much further of the human anatomy we're going to explore this evening, but we've got another 4 or 5 minutes
Ray,
anyway.
If you come to the forest with us, baby,
let's do it.
We could be examining all your crevices with a head torchlight.
Ray's leaving right now. He's breaking all lockdown restrictions.
I'm putting Hobbit into the Google Maps right now. Tell us about... I know, it's Devon. Tell us about... Hobbiton, of course.
They must get that.
Tell us about...
I must try and tease a few of them.
Klaus, your character in the Umbrella Academy, because he's a bit different to a lot of the rest of the other characters in the ensemble cast in the show.
Yeah.
And he's something of an inspiration, and he's been hailed as a particularly important character. Tell us about him.
Well, he's a character who's basically learned how to. He's a character who's basically learned how to live on his own, and sort of subsist in a kind of a loveless world, and his very great sort of supernatural abilities are essentially hindrances in his life And, you know, when we first meet him at the start of the Umbrella Academy saga, he's someone who's kind of numbing these supernatural abilities with drugs and alcohol. And it's essentially, you know, a fairly textbook addict, someone who gets plagued by the voices, whether or not they're in his head or not, we're not sure, of ghosts, people who've passed on who are looking to make contact with the material through Klaus because he's a sort of a link for them. And he just sort of takes drugs to kind of numb them, you know, or not see them. And then he goes through this sort of transformation where he finds something that he loves more than himself, which is the thing that makes him kick drugs, or at least try his best to. And that's him falling in love with a GI called Dave in early 1960s Vietnam, in the middle of the war, after some very nifty time travel. So this is all a bit of a spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched it.
I was just about to say, but sure, you're spoiling it, so you're actually allowed. It's Robert Sheehan doing the spoiling. But how do you feel about
doing the spoiling?
But it's inspired some younger viewers, especially, to kind of have the guts to come out to their parents, to their families. How do you feel about your portrayal of that character, like being a role model for these young kids?
Oh, it's a really very lovely, humbling thing. Makes me feel very proud. I mean, if anything you do in life makes someone else's life easier, sure, isn't that a good thing? It's funny, you know, me and my mate Finn Fury Jr., actually, you know, the singer.
Yeah.
The singer, the great singer in his own right, of the glorious Fury dynasty. Look, he's here beside me having a pint of Guinness.
Hi, Finn. How's it going?
All right, guys.
There's a longing for pints and pubs tonight. All over Ireland, people are watching the two of you in a pub in Devon.
Yeah, he's going to brave the forest as well. But you know, it was funny. Me and him were talking about Tupac on the way down, and he was once asked about, oh, how do you feel about being a role model? And he was 21, and he said, well, let's look at that language for a second. There's the word role, which means pretend, which I suppose pertains a little bit more to what I do. But it's still pretend, you know, and model, which is, you know, I suppose on its own, you know, it's the act of standing very still or doing something a mannequin does. And it's, you know, I don't know, to Tupac anyway, it had a kind of a false connotation. And I suppose it can have a false connotation, but also I suppose the way he thought about it was that in order to have a creative endeavor, one kind of can't take that on board too heavily and feel as though they're a spokesperson for something, you know. It's incredibly positive, I suppose, that, you know, I've the portrayal of Klaus, which is, you know, the script, the mechanics of a TV show, me saying the words, you know, I'm sort of the tip of a very, very large iceberg, you know, in that message and everything. So, it's lovely, you know, it's lovely to be part of it. But ultimately, I still agree with Tupac that to sort of take on the role of role model could be a little bit troublesome going forward in terms of just being free to be an actor and creative and stuff.
You are free to, well, you exec produced this short film, The Bigger Picture. It's been re-released on YouTube. You can check it out now. We had to sign in to view it.
Yes, we did.
It's a little bit raunchy.
Had to be over 18.
But it's incredible. It's fantastic. And well, we've got a little clip, actually. Let's take a look. This is The Bigger Picture.
I'm going to London in the morning. You're going to America in June, and then I'm away in August. So, I mean, how could that work, Sophie?
I don't care about any of that. I just wanted you.
Well, I do care, you know, because it would drive me insane thinking about him.
Robert, it's very raw. It's about this massive breakup. So much is unfolded in the 10 minutes that it's on. Were you thinking about your own breakups when you were doing this? Because it's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I was. That's what's lovely about the script, is it captures something very, very specific, I suppose, but also something very, very universal about breakups and about being sort of too young to wield love and, you know, just being kind of being highly confused by the intensity of it all. But yeah, it certainly brought up memories, yeah. And the fellow who wrote it is from Bangor in Northern Ireland, actually, and he's called Greer Ellison. He's a fantastic writer and a producer, and he was kind of having that argument, you know, and then as it ended, his writer's brain was whirring. And he was thinking, as soon as she's gone, I have to sit down and get the specifics of this lover's language and the context of it all. I have to get down as much of it as possible, because he understood in the midst of it all that it had great value, because it's so honest, you know.
Absolutely,
So
yeah. It's
when I read it, I was like, yeah, this feels really real.
Well, there was one thing about it, because you kind of did this all in one continuous shot. You know, when you watch it, it just keeps on going from like a very intimate scene to them parting ways. Was that really tough to do?
Yeah. I mean, it was tough. I think the challenges on the day were to do with the mechanics of it all, because the two guys who directed it, Greer and his mate Merlin, they wanted to do it all in one take and on film. And film has very finite rolls of film. So we had to get the take done before the film ran out, and with all of the choreography and blocking with the camera and all that good stuff. So they were behind the monitor just counting down the seconds, hoping to God that they'd get a full take out of the latest roll of film, because we only had 6 or 7 of them. But in terms of the emotion of it, all of that was kind of rehearsed, and we felt like we got it to a good place, and that became kind of just in the moment then, really. And I can't really remember. I mean, we shot it about 5 years ago as well. I mean, the thing about it being released now was, because we never really released it. We put it on Vimeo for £1 or something.
Yeah.
But really, we thought the Umbrella 2, we thought we'd bandwagon nicely on the back of all that press. And,
Yes.
very true.
And give it a push on the 6 o'clock show.
Absolutely. Well, it's on YouTube now. You can go and check it out there. It's called The Bigger Picture, and you're going to see those clicks go mad this evening. Robert Sheehan, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Enjoy
and
your
enjoy the
pints.
forest. Good luck.
Oh, it's a great pleasure.
Enjoy your horror movie. Hopefully we'll see you on the other side.
Bye, Finn. See you later.
Long
Bye,
trip.
Robert.
Wish us luck.
Bye. Good luck, lads. Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye. Bye.